marooned. A fate to send an ice-cold sliver of fear straight through the heart of even the bravest of sailors. Stranded alone on an island to fend for themselves, or succumb to what dangers there be. And out on the sea of thieves, there be more danger than anyone can know. So you may be wondering just how exactly I got myself into this mess. Well, I'd be more'n glad to tell you. The story starts how all the best pirate stories be starting, with a long voyage and a tankard of grog to help pass the hours. Now, much like any other scurvy dog you'll be coming across, old Captain Fumble likes to indulge a bit more than perhaps he should. But this night in particular, I suppose I might have gone a bit overboard. Because next thing you know, I'd fallen overboard. Now, I don't entirely recall what happened next. Gwyneth! Just that I were having some trouble finding me mermaid Gwyneth. Gwyneth! Something just touched me foot! The next thing I knew, I were lying face down on the shore of Plunder Valley, me ship nowhere in sight, and Gwyneth looking mighty upset with me out in the water. Apparently I'd said something to offend her last night. If you ever pop up this far again, I'm gonna chop you in half and sell your hindquarters to the hunter's call! No idea what it could have been. Well, whatever it were, it upset her good and proper. So much so that she decided to leave me stranded on this island until I apologized. Which I were not about to do. I told her I could last forever and a day out here if need be. She told me I couldn't even last a week if I tried. And so there and then, a wager farmed. 1 week staying on Plunder Valley. How bad could it possibly be? Now I'm sure Gwyneth had a good laugh over me getting attacked first thing after accepting her little challenge. But the joke was on her. Every good sailor knows the first step to avoid going mad while stranded is to find something to talk to. And Toughlin here would be my new best mate for the week. Once I'd collected his skull, of course. Now then, as I were feeling in a spiteful mood, I took it upon myself to get rid of a washed-up old mermaid artifact cluttering up my beach. I couldn't just leave it lying around after all. I also took hold of an old ammo crate so I could bring it inland, leaving it at the mouth of a cave near another crate much like it. When I went back to the shore to grab Toftland, I started to notice just how late it were getting. Scooping him up, I went back to where I left the munitions crate. I were considering making this cave my shelter for the week, but something about it, didn't sit quite right with me. Besides, there was a bigger cave, not a stone's throw away. A cave more befitting a captain such as myself. With my shelter found, I did one last quick check of the horizon before returning to my cave to get some rest. If the rest of the week were to be this simple, the wager were practically already won. I'm reminded just how much I hate sleeping in caves. Once my spine stopped feeling like a broken mast, I made me way outside to do my morning patrol. The storm were rolling in, and I were hoping beyond hope I'd be off of this island before it arrived. I went over to the old shipwreck so I could turn my spyglass towards Plunder Outpost. There'd been a sloop docked there the day before, but it seemed that they were gone now. And Gwyneth, if you don't batten down that hatch, I swear to God... Where was I? Ah, yes, my patrol. Toughlin and I continued to scale the landmass, scrounging around for whatever might prove useful later on. Until, once we'd reached one of the higher peaks, he told me to look up. And once I did, I spotted something. A beacon. Me and Toughlin scrambled our way up the ladder, only pausing for a moment to scan the horizon, spotting what I could only assume to be the sloop from earlier. It were a ways out, but I could see her lanterns burning. So hopefully, her crew would see mine. I set Toughlin down on an old stone altar and went to light the beacon. If all went well, that sloop would be here soon, and I could see about negotiating it coming back at the week's end for a pickup. For now, though, me and Toughlin just had to wait. Wait and survive. We made our way back down the mountain, making short work of a foolish spectre who dared to cross us, before retreating back to the cave to rest up for the third day. I was awoken by a sound of something rustling about outside me cave. Between the beacon up above signaling for other pirates to come and visit, and me own distaste for sleeping on the cave floor, I figured I may as well go for a quick walk, just to see what it were, if nothing else. I heard it again, right as I were about to go back. Another skeleton captain, digging his way up through the dirt. I took his gold and his orders, and at Toughlin's request, buried the skull. He said it were laying him to rest, but I weren't so sure, to be truthful with you. But never mind that. The sun were coming up, which meant it were time for another patrol. It weren't until about midday that I saw any action. A pack of skeletons rose up to try and take me out, but I rattled them bones with ease. Without much better to do, I made me way back up to the beacon to just sit down for a spell. Take in the view. Wait, hang on. Was that sloop farther away than it were before? This has got to be some kind of joke. The one time I want other pirates to turn up, and this be what I get? Unbelievable. I took Toughlin to head back to the cave, but before I could even start back down the mountain, another skeleton captain. I gave this one the same treatment Toughlin asked me to give the last one. Rob him blind and leave him behind. I went back down to the cave, and it were at this point I decided to shake up my routine a little. Patrolling the island was getting me nowhere fast, so I figured I may as well be productive during my stay. I had 3 sets of skeleton orders, and that meant there was treasure abound on this island. If nothing else, I could use it to pay for a trip back to an outpost, assuming anyone ever bothered to show up. Come nightfall, I'd begun work on them riddle maps. Reading this map, a clue you'll see, if at the mark of the blood-red hand ye be. I miscalculated a jump that almost ended me stay here in paradise, so I had to grab a quick midnight snack to make myself feel better. Quick little survival tip. Don't stand too close to an open flame if you be wearing a long jacket. Delicious. A pesky platoon of pirate poltergeist prevented me plundering, but once the last were put in purgatory, I got back to it post-haste. Find the sunstone and cast off your fears. Replace it with music inside your ears. And finally, to the painted butterfly that honest toil, your well-earned prize beneath the soil. Two mermaid gems and a ritual skull, along with a modest sum of gold. Not bad at all. Could be better, though. Anyway, I brought the chest back to my cave and left it under Tofflin's watchful eye sockets. I were confident he could keep the chest and its contents safe, so I went off to work on the next one. At the painted butterfly, strike a chord, one step closer to the hard. Where the bird shrine shines no light, lift thy lantern with all your might. Now I know what you might be thinking. Oh, it be that big stone bird outside me cave. Nope. Maybe the big cliff carved into one? No. Well, there's another big stone bird on the mountainside. Not that one neither. Maybe the little stone pole? Well, that one ain't a bird, now is it? The others were birds and they weren't. Shut up. I've been on this island too long. Now, I won't be telling you just how long I spent looking for that damned bird. Just that in the time it took, I found a gunpowder keg, killed an Ashen Guardian, passed another day, watched the captain fight a group of ghosts, the captain won, and reorganized my cave, only to realize that the bird had been in there the whole time. This be hell. I am in hell. I did something bad, and now I am in hell. Well, hell or not, I still had treasure to find. And the last riddle to find it with. For the moment, I chose to ignore the fact that Gwyneth brought me a rowboat to mock me. It took me a moment to reach the place, but once I did... At the Eagle Hunter, keep a weathered eye. 8 paces northeast, then give the shovel a try. Now, this were an interesting development. My shovel struck something else, hidden beneath the chest. And sure enough, it were another chest! Another ritual skull, an ashen trinket, far more than mermaid gems, and a decent haul of gold. I were pleased, no doubt about that. It weren't exactly worth the trouble with the bird statue, mind, but it still put a smile on me face. Another day, another doubloon. Or riddle map in my case. Reading this map at the stone beacon is wise. Another clue it does disguise. Etc., etc. More gems. Always a pleasure. Toss them in the pile. Can you tell that I'm sick of this island yet? Well, too bad. Still got one more day to go. And some more treasure to find. Specifically, an ashen chest, courtesy of its long-dead guardian. At the bat painting, yada yada, give me the damn clue. So I know the Order of Souls gets the memories from the skulls and puts them on the paper. But how does that make the cave paintings glow, When I get back to my ship, I swear to Calypso, I'm gonna sleep for a week. Then drink for 2. Now then, ashen chest in me cave, a day away from leaving the island, and a rowboat ready to go come first light. Sounds like everything were perfect conditions, eh? Oh, I wish. The storm were rolling in, and I were still here when it arrived. I had to head to the mountaintop to check the beacon, ensure it were still lit, despite the downpour. By some miracle it were, but as I made me way back... An ambush! Ocean crawlers! I could take 'em on, no issue, were conditions a tad better. But with all this blasted rain... The clam got a good hit in, throwing me off me game, and the eel managed to avoid a shot at point blank. They kept the pressure on. By the time the skeleton captain joined in, I were already running back to me cave. But it seemed it weren't just the terrors of the deep and the restless dead who wanted to rumble with old Fumble. The sky itself split apart to forsake me, nearly costing me life as my body burned from the lightning strike. The rain put out the fire, but I weren't out of trouble just yet. One hit and I were a goner. I had to find something to eat, and fast. Oh, I can't think of another time I'd been so happy to see a coconut. I crammed it in my face as I ran back to shelter. The storm hadn't yet passed, but I could see the edge of it out on the horizon. How the beacon remained lit is beyond me. I suppose it didn't much matter, though. Some things that happen out here aren't meant for us to understand. Speaking of... Since my first day on this island, I'd avoided... that cave. Something about it felt wrong. Tainted, if you will. But... I had to go back to it, to grab me ammo box. Like I said, some things aren't meant for us to understand. All I knew, and all I needed to know, was that I were glad to be leaving this island. I got an early start loading up my treasure onto the rowboat. I didn't want to spend another moment here, let alone another day of packing. Once Tofflin were in place, I started to row my boat the hell away from Plunder Valley. It were a long trip yet to reach the outpost, but I'd be more than happy to take it. Especially since I just won my wager with Gwyneth. I couldn't resist the pirate urge to pillage that whole shipwreck. But once that were done, I finished my voyage, docking my rowboat right beside the Sovereign's tent. As I picked up Tofflin, the last of me mementos from me time on that island, I began to wonder, could I really sell him? Could I take all that loyalty for granted? He were my friend after all. Oh, come on! Only 862? Damn Sovereigns, ripping me off again.